Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have this really pretty blue, purple, and silver 5x7 alcohol ink card. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to give you a quick look at what I'm using. I just picked up the new pearls that Tim Holtz came out with, and I'm going to use the purple and the blue there and some blending solution, my air blower, and a piece of 5x7 Yupo. So the two colors are Divine and Opulent, and they're stunning. I love how this background turned out. And you guys know, if you've been with me for a minute, that I do tend to do my designs one corner to the other, and I do prefer, as a general rule, the top left corner to the bottom right corner. That's just something that I enjoy visually. So I mean, you could do whatever you like on your background. This is just something that I really like. And I did want there to be quite a bit of flow in the first layer of color. So I put down a lot of blending solution and used my air blower to really move those colors around and get the two colors to blend in the center. This is just what I really wanted to do. And then once they kind of become fairly dry, I create a little bit more color and a little bit more, I'm going to call it texture, in the area where the two colors are kind of coming in. So I don't move them as much. I don't add as much solution, but I do kind of create almost some harsh lines as opposed to that more flowing look that you get kind of in the center. And that was honestly just because I wanted some more texture. You could have left it a very flowy look. I just chose to add some extra texture into how the background came out. And I am in love with these new pearl colors. You guys, if you know, you've been with me for a minute, you know purple is my favorite color. I know it's hard to tell because I do a lot of pink and gold cards, but purple is actually my favorite color. So I am just super in love with how vibrant these colors are and super excited to play with them some more. I got all the 6 colors and the rose gold, so I will be making some more. I just sadly ran out of Yupo, so I'm going to have to go and buy some more. And then here I'm just going to create my 5x7 card base. So I see that I have my big 12x12 trimmer out. That was just so that I could see my measurements better, because my little trimmer only goes to 6 inches. So with that, you'd have a harder time seeing where the measurement was for the 10 inches and 7 inches. So I just brought out my big trimmer, and then I've got my Score Buddy and my Teflon bone folder, and I'm just going to use them to create a crease. I do score on both sides just because I do use very heavyweight cardstock for my bases. It's like 110 or 120 pound bases, so I like to score on both sides. Just makes it easier for me to fold them. And then I brought in a piece of Simon's Stamp silver matte cardstock, and I'm going to create a border. You guys know that I love to matte things. I love the finished look that it gives, so I'm going to give it about a 1/2 inch on each layer to kind of create that look. So I am going to have to cut down my panel here. And I really didn't want to. I loved how this turned out, but I wanted there to be some silver poking out around the sides. You guys would have seen from the image when we opened what we're kind of aiming for, and I love that layered look. I think that it really gives an elegance to a card, so I did end up having to trim some off on each side and then a little bit on the top and bottom as well, just to give that silver edge. Now, if you were madly in love with it, you of course don't need to cut it down. You don't need to add a silver border. That's totally up to you. I just like the finished look that it ends up giving. So that's kind of what I was aiming for. And here you can see where I'm going with it. Like I think that layered look looks really good. And on a 5x7, you have so much real estate that I think that it turns out stunning. And then I brought in the Tim Holtz leaf fragment dies, and I picked out 3 of the leaves, and I cut 2 out of very heavyweight vellum. And then I cut the 3rd one out of the center of that silver panel that I trimmed down, just because, I mean, otherwise we'd be kind of wasting it. Sadly, I don't really cut anything else out of it because I didn't need anything else silver. I only wanted the 1 silver leaf just because I think that it pulls it all together really well. And because I didn't want to hide the background, I used vellum for the other 2 leaves. And these leaves are stunning. Like, I know that they're fragmented, so they're kind of supposed to look dated or aged, but I love how beautiful they are and how much texture they give. It just makes me happy. So I do have a tendency towards wanting to use them over other leaf dies, but again, you could use anything you have. And of course, my supervisor came in. This is my gray fuzzy kitten. She is named Mist. She is about 4, and she usually has to come and help me when I am crafting. Somebody has asked me a few questions about her, so I thought that I would leave this in just so you could see her, and she is a long-haired cat. We adopt all of our cats, my husband and I, so I don't know exactly what breed she would be, but she's beautiful and she follows me around all the time. It's really fun. So yeah, and then I adhered everything down with my Nuvo Deluxe glue, and I did have to clean it off a little bit. It did kind of go over the edge onto the silver cardstock, but I just wipe it off with my finger and I have no problems. Now, I really wanted to use a sentiment strip. I am pretty in love with these right now, but I don't want it to be black because there's no black on my card at all, right? Like you can kind of see the design I'm thinking in the corner there, but I don't want my sentiment to be black. So I'm going to foil it. Because these are printed as toner, like they're toner printed, you can foil them with a laminator, or in my case, I'm going to use my Minc mini machine. And I did do a big sentiment, so I'm going to use that thank you. And then I also cut down a little sentiment that I'm going to put on the inside of the card. So I am going to foil both of them. Now, I know some people don't enjoy foiling, but honestly, this is probably one of the easiest ways to foil something. So I brought in some silver foil and I just cut down a piece with my scissors there. And I'm going to use some of my mint tape, which is just a low tack tape, to adhere the foil down. This is just so it doesn't shift. It doesn't need to be adhered. This is just for my own peace of mind because I don't want it to shift while it goes through the machine. And I always have mine on setting 5, and this is just a piece of like printer paper that I use to go through. I lost the window or the clear piece that you should use to go through the machine. I lost that a long time ago, so I just use a piece of copy paper, and I have had no problems with foiling. So I put it through the machine there, and then I'm going to lift it off and give you the reveal. I know it's hard to tell. It still looks like it's black in the images, but I promise it is very, very silver. It's hard to tell on that one as well. The thank you gets a little bit easier to see, and I will hold it up here in a second for you to check it out because it's just such a stunning way to add a little extra and take away that black because I didn't want black in the design. And I do also bring in an anti-stick, one of those anti-adhesive erasers or whatever, and I just took off the extra foiling that kind of happened a little bit near the thank you. So this is always a little fun. Adhering vellum can be a bit tricky because you will end up seeing the glue, and you can see here I'm kind of trying to figure out my placement and how I want everything. So you can see on that one leaf that I've already put down, you can see where the adhesive is. However, I'm going to bring in some gems and put them on top. It doesn't hide it perfectly, but it doesn't really need to either. Nobody really comments on that. At least personally, I've never had anybody comment on that. Excuse me. But I mean, I don't have any concerns with that, but it can be a bit tricky. Now, you could, of course, run these through like a Xyron sticker maker or that kind of a thing to add your adhesive on, but I am a big user of liquid glue. I love liquid glue. I do have a tendency towards it. So I did bring in my Barely Art glue for this just because it would give me the smallest amounts of glue, and then it would be easier for me to hide. So you don't need to use Nuvo and Barely Art. I have them both and I love them both, so I do have a tendency to use them both when I need a finer tip. And then I did bring in some Studio Katia silver sparkle crystals. I think that they went really beautifully with this card. And at this point, I had forgotten that I hadn't cut off the edge of the thank you. So we're going to do it right now and just take that off because it's not necessary. You could, of course, put this in a trimmer if you don't trust your cutting. I don't usually because I find that to be a bit more of a hassle. And I didn't cut it straight, so I had to come from the front and trim off that one side a little bit. But that's kind of how it went. I'm going to hold it up now so you can see it in all of its glory, and I'm going to show you the inside. Look at how stunning those pearl inks are. They're fabulous. I am so excited. I cannot wait to play with them some more and use some different colors and just see how they turn out. Here's the inside of the card. So that is the card I have for you guys today. I would love it if you'd consider subscribing. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye for now.